What's going on, guys? Mike here for part 2 of our website design tutorial on YouTube. Nice visual tutorial for those of you who hate reading those long forms and those long informational books. I'm going to try to keep everything concise, short, and separated in means that I feel are the best to learn. Remember, this is how I learned, so I'm going to showcase that for all of you. So for part 2, we're going to be talking about tags and how they work and what are the very, very basic ones that you will see in every HTML document or every website you see out there. And throughout the course of this whole thing, I didn't state it in part 1, we're going to be creating a very, very basic website, which I hope to be using for both my beginner lessons and then my more advanced ones once we get through all the beginner ones. So I hope you guys are in for the long haul. So back here, if this is the first thing you notice, which I'm hoping it is, I changed my background. It's no longer Java. It's now an HTML sheet here. And I figure, you know, what better wallpaper to put than a cheat sheet for tags for HTML. These showcase pretty much all the very common ones that we will be using. And I suggest, you know, if you want it or you want a background on your computer if you're using 2 monitors to glance at every now and then, go to wallbase.cc and type in HTML and you'll be able to find this no problem. So let's jump right into it. Tags, what are they? Well, as you can see here, tags are pretty much ways that your browser or the way that your document is going to read what to do with certain, you know, information in between these tags. You know, when to make something bold, when to make something italic, what you want to be a header, a footer, a body, a paragraph, pretty much etc., stuff like that. And the way tags are formatted, as we can see here, we start off with a greater than sign. We then go to whatever that tag name is going to be, you know, footer, header, paragraph, etc., and then a greater than sign. And then everything after that will be included in that tag, and every tag is then closed with the exact same code, slightly modified. It's going to be a less than sign, a forward slash, then the name of the tag, and then a greater than sign. So everything inside those tag names will then apply to that. Might sound a little confusing at first, but don't worry, we are going to write some in order for you to visually see. So open up your editor here, whichever one you decided to use from part 1. You know, any of the ones I listed will work, and if you're not using any of those, then, you know, go with whatever one you feel comfortable with. So for those of you who are using Dreamweaver, this is the one that I will be using, so yay for you. If not a lot of people are using Dreamweaver and some people want me to showcase some other programs, let me know and I might, you know, mix it up as we go on. But for the most part, I will be using Dreamweaver. So for those of you who are using Dreamweaver, open it up. You're going to have create new HTML. And right here, you're going to see a lot of jibber jabber for those of you who don't know what it is. You can just select it all and bam, delete it. So now we are in an even playing field with everyone who is not using Dreamweaver. You know, some people are using Notepad, etc., etc. So the first tag that you will need to use in order to know, or in order for your browser to know what type of document this is going to be the HTML tag. Very basic. We're writing HTML. We need an HTML tag. So like I said, every tag starts with less than. Then we're going to type HTML, and then we are going to close it with a greater than. Now, the most important thing that I want you to learn from this lesson is every tag has both an opening and an ending, or a beginning and an end. So that is our beginning tag, and now we need our ending tag. So remember, like I said, it's going to be a less than sign, a forward slash, HTML, greater than sign. For those of you who are using Dreamweaver or some other programs, you might have autocomplete on. If you would like, you can turn it off, you know, search through the tools and stuff. Mine will stay on because that's just what I've been using and I like to be efficient like that. But if you are just starting out, you know, with Notepad and stuff, don't feel like you're left behind or anything. It's actually better to write it over and over again. That way you burn it into your memory on what, you know, what tags do what and when you're going to use what, and learning to close them, because believe it or not, closing tags is the one thing that a lot of people forget, including myself when I was in school. So make sure you close your tags. Write them first. Write both the beginning tag and the closing tag, and then do the information in between. But lucky for us, HTML is going to be the first and last tag in your documents, minus your doc type, but don't worry about that right now. So as you can see, I put a whole bunch of spaces in between. That's just because I like to space out my work. I like to be able to read everything, no problem. You don't have to do it if you don't want. Uh, Inside of your document and stuff, or inside of your website, they will not see these spaces. Spaces have their own code in order to write, in order to know that there will be a space. So don't worry about it. You can put as many or as little amount of space as you want. So after the HTML opening close or opening tag, we then are going to specify a head. Now, what our head is going, or excuse me, everything inside of both our opening and closing head tags. So everything in between this little space right here. Let me just close this a little bit. Everything in between right here. This is what is going to be your title. It's going to be your links to your style sheets. It's going to be your meta information for, like, how to be searched up on Google and stuff like that. I will get more into that later on down the road, but for being a beginner, don't worry, you don't have to know pretty much anything about what goes inside the head tag, except two things, but we're only going to go over one right now, and that is your title. So if you couldn't guess, title is the next tag that we will be discussing. So again, write out your title and close your title. Bam, perfect. Now, as you can see, I have it on the same line here. That's only because when it comes to title, it's generally only one thing that's going to be written inside of it, so you don't need to space it out like I have the header here and the HTML here and here. Title is going to be written right in between these two lines, so right here. Bam. So for those of you concerned about or wondering what your title does, if you've ever opened up YouTube, which I'm sure everyone has since that's how you're writing it, if you look all the way at the top on the tab that you're in for, let's say, Google Chrome, you'll see the little YouTube icon, you'll see the name of the video, and some other jabbly juk in between it. That is all your title. That is pretty much just telling you very short what is on this page that you're viewing. You can make it anything you want. You can make it just a big exclamation point. You can pretty much do anything you want. You can have it dynamically change, etc., etc. So that is pretty much what our title is going to be. In our next episode, when we start writing about our website, or in our next episode, in our next part, maybe 3 or 4, when we start getting into actually creating the site, whatever site you want to make it, you can title it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It does not have to match mine. So for right now, that's all that we are going to put in between our head tags. It's just going to be our title, and now we have a giant siren going off. I apologize. But now let's move after our header, or our head, excuse me, not our header, our head, and we are going into our body. So again, body, we are going to open it, and then we are going to close it, and we are going to space this up. Now, in between our body, or I should say our body tags here, this is where everything happens on your website. This is where you're going to have all your content, pretty much. Everything you're looking at now or watching this video now, where you see, the comments and everything, that is all inside of a body tag. That is the meat and potatoes, the steel, the hard steel, the heart of your website. This is where we're going to fill everything with paragraphs and headers and menu bars and stuff like that. So your body is where everything is going to go, so you have to have a body tag. And after those, what is that, 5 tags? HTML, head, title, body. 4 tags. So after those 4 tags, that is pretty much all you need in order to get started. So what I suggest you do is to just, make sure you know these tags, make sure you know what they do. Like I said, HTML, your HTML tag is just going to specify what type of code this is going to be in. Your head tag is going to specify, the title, all your meta information, links to your style sheets, stuff like that. Your body is the meat and potatoes. That's going to be all your paragraphs, headers, videos, stuff, etc., etc. And that is it. So, and your title. I skipped title. And your title is just going to be the title of your work, if you so shall use those words. So yeah. So that is pretty much it for part 2. Very basic, like I said. We're going to move everything at a snail's pace here, just so people get into the feel of writing code. It can be fairly difficult as time goes on, and I don't want people to get left behind. And if you have any problems, or for later videos, send me a message on YouTube. It will not bother me at all. I do respond to all my messages. So that's that. So, I almost forgot. What do we do with this now that we have it written? Well, you have to save it. So File, Save As, and now depending on which I want to say which program you're using. Everything's going to save a little bit differently. I'm using Dreamweaver. I like to save everything on my desktop on a folder. So we're going to save as. We're going to go desktop. I like to right click, new folder, and I'm going to name this YouTube website design. I am going to name this. I suggest everyone name it MDiggss. You can name it anything you want, but MDiggss is going to be helpful for later videos. I'm just setting you up for success here. And if you can change the file type, save it as an HTML. If you can't, I'm going to go over how to quickly change your file. This is for people mostly using Notepad because I know you can't save it as HTML. So then we're going to hit, we're going to make sure we're in the right folder, and then we're going to hit save. Now, for those of you who are using Notepad, it's going to defaultly save as a TXT document, a text document. So if you're using Windows 7, pretty much just you can go into your documents folder here. You are then going to hit the Alt key. You are then going to go to Tools, Folder Options, View tab, and right here you're going to see Hide Extensions for Known File Types. Default, that is going to be checked. What you're going to do is you're going to uncheck it. You're going to hit Apply and hit OK. You can then close out of this. You can minimize. You could then go to your folder. You will have your document that you just saved. You can now click on it once, click on it again, go to the end of it where defaultly, let me just change this, you're going to have .txt. So you can click on it. You are going to take that .txt, make sure to do not erase the little dot there, keep the period in, and we're going to change it to HTML, hit enter, and then hit yes. So now it'll be saved as an HTML file, and that is exactly what you want. As later pages that we are going to create, you are probably going to need, when you save it, it's going to save as a text document. You are probably going to need to change it as HTML. So for those of you using Notepad, I suggest maybe upgrading to Notepad++ because there you can save as an HTML file, and it will definitely help you in the long run. Not to mention, Notepad++ has a lot of extra features that will be nice for you to see, especially visually, as later videos become available to you. So that is pretty much it. Very basic here. Wanted to keep it nice and simple. And thank you guys for watching. In part 3, we're going to talk about some paragraph tags, some header tags, and not some paragraph. Header and heading tags too, and maybe footer. Footer I might just do its own little video on later on down the road. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys got a very basic understanding of what tags are and how they are used and how to open and close them. And that is that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in part 2. Later.